parents are always just sort of worried about your safety and security. They're not seeing that it's really important for someone to grow and live in their passion. So it's not that they're coming from an intent to
Oh
destroy.
no, and I've come to accept that, like they just want to know that when they're gone, I'm taken care of. They just want to know that I can survive. And I actually know where, like I've oh, I mean, if people want a daily habit, that's fantastic. Like listen to TED Talks or listen to audio books, especially personal development stuff. It doesn't matter who the person is. Just like try all of them. Find out what your philosophies are. You'll learn. But you learn some science in there as well. And the thing is, the reason that people will try to warn you, like, oh, you shouldn't do that. What if you fail? What if your art sucks? What if And again, I'm using art here. This could be anything, Rebecca. Like, what if your business fails? What if you invest all your money? Who cares about what if? The reason that people say that is because of the two things. One, the amygdala, also known as the lizard brain, is like where our fears and all that stuff. That little inside chatter that I say to myself, "Oh God, what if nobody likes this painting?" Or what if my Kickstarter doesn't get funded? And if you listen to that, there's no point in living because like everything is going to be what if, what if, what if. But the other thing is that it also comes from an earlier time. Like, so yeah, right now the amygdala originally protected us. Like, hey, there's a dinosaur, a saber-toothed tiger, and it's going to eat us. We better hide. We better run. We better be scared. It's good to be scared sometimes. And at the same time, though, we don't have dinosaurs and saber-toothed tigers chasing us around now. So now it protects us from really stupid things like, well, what if this doesn't work? What if you get embarrassed? And the reason that that is actually a valid point is back in the caveman days, you wouldn't make it on your own. You needed your tribe to protect you and shelter you. You'd hunt together and you'd protect each other and all that stuff. So if you did something that clashed with the tribe belief and you got kicked out of the tribe, you got, survivor style voted off the island, you'd probably die. And it's obviously not relevant to our society. In fact, the people that are weird after they survive being weird, now they build up a reputation. They're the cool ones. Like they're the ones who are building cool businesses or doing cool art. But yeah, so like well-meaning friends and family are like the number one killers of dreams. I it's good to communicate with them. Like, hey, look, appreciate it. Like they just the other aspect with the amygdala and tribal thing is that if let's say we're both working at McDonald's, Rebecca, I know that sounds pretty ridiculous like right now after all that we've done, but there's a lot of people who have regular jobs, they're non-entrepreneurial, and one of us comes up with an idea. Rebecca, every time I hold my water bottle, I end up getting like condensation, and I think I got an idea for a better one. And you know, I think I can make this happen. I think I'm going to promote this, and then maybe I'll make a bunch of money in it. And you'll be like, no, no, Ori, I mean, like right now, look, you work here. It's a little greasy maybe, but you're getting paid. Like, what if that fails and then you left your job for nothing? And like, who's going to hire you? The economy sucks. Whatever they tell you on the news. And it's because your amygdala's getting all fired up because if I succeed, I'm leaving you behind. You're stuck at McDonald's. I'm going to be have an invention and I'm not going back to McDonald's. So it's your survival on the line. And I just the path that I've chosen, though, the great thing about having eaten so much crap, about having done this so consistently, is that now I'm inspiring other people to go back and, whether it's start drawing, doing electronics, playing musical instruments, pick up old hobbies that they had, follow passions they've always wanted to do. They're seeing that, hey, it's okay. Ori's not dead. In fact, most of the comments are actually kind of cool. Like, yeah, once in a while you get, I don't know what vocabulary is okay on your show, so I'll just say someone who's mean, but, I'd say something that's a lot more colorful usually. But whatever. In fact, by not acknowledging those people, I'll talk to them. I'll discuss it. If they say, "Oh, your piece sucks," I'm like, "Well, no. Give me specific. What don't you like about it? Like, why do you think it sucks?" And oftentimes, you find it's about them, or oftentimes, what's fantastic is hundreds of other people are going to go and run this bully out of town
That's
because
your tribe.
that's my tribe. I've built it up. I don't have to defend myself. I don't.
So,
Mark.
so, so right now you have a limited time to fulfill this sort of next leg of your journey, hopefully for through a Kickstarter, and you've put out a very long sort of TED Talk video to tell people about it, and you're trying to purchase a 3D printer so that you can create sculpture as you go on another road trip. Did I understand it correctly?
Well, the road trip's got nothing to do with it so much, but it's that I miss being on the road. In January, I took my first road trip in 2 years, and all this magical stuff that used to happen all the time started happening right away. I mean, my GPS tried to take me off a cliff. Like, I had to get a special tow truck to come get me. That sounds like maybe horrendous to like other people, but to me that's funny. That's a great story. I met a girl. We had a magical time. I surprised my mom. I mean, I drove 3,000 miles to deliver a painting on her birthday. And, like, she cried for once I gave her tears of joy. I said, other guy. And so, yeah, I'm getting back on the road. But so a 3D printer, for those who don't know what it is, it's this machine that melts. Now, they have different variations of 3D printers, but this particular type, the kind that consumers can get, what it does is think of your inkjet printer or a dot matrix even. It goes back and forth, right? And it deposits ink in the right colors in the right spots. And when you're done, you have your document or your photo or whatever it is that you printed. A 3D printer does the same thing, except for the print head not only moves left and right, it also moves forwards and backwards, and there's a platform underneath the print head that moves down. So every time it moves, the printer deposits molten plastic in precisely the right spot, then the thing moves and it puts on top of it, until finally you have, whether it's a sculpture, a wrench, a tool. They're even doing like ones now that, again, not for consumers, but they've printed like with using stem cells. They've printed someone a replacement ear. They're working on printing food. So the ideal goal is like in the very near future, you're not going to have to send astronauts new parts when something breaks. They're just going to create it right there out of nothing, out of atoms. And so this is a device that I can create stuff in 3D on my laptop while I'm traveling. That's one of the attractions to this thing. And instead of ink for your printer, you have rolls, spools of plastic, like string, but plastic. And so I can carry that with me, can withstand intense weather. It's not heavy, and so I don't need uh, clay. I don't have to go to an art store, and since I don't have an address per se, I don't have, it's a little more difficult to order from Amazon when you're only in town for a few days and then you're moving on. But um, my Okay, so you already heard the story about how I discovered that I love art, and then I started doing art every day. Well, originally, I called it my drawing of the day, but then it became my painting of the day because it was more painterly, and I think a painting is like the next evolution. Now I was adding color and texture and stuff, and then basically after a year, I was like, I should probably try sculpting. So I took a bronze making class because I couldn't figure out how do you make bronze, and I googled it, and YouTube, and I saw that you have to melt bronze to 2,000 degrees. And I was like, this seems like something I probably should not learn from YouTube, and this seems like something I should probably not try in my apartment learning from YouTube. So I took a class and I made this bronze gorilla with this girl sitting on his lap, giving him a hug. And it's my favorite piece. It was so dangerous and so much hard work went into it. Like, I thought I was like, sweet. I paid, $300 for the class. I'll just sell this thing for like $2,000, $4,000, and I made my money back. But as soon as I got home, I'm like, this thing is never leaving my side. It's my pride. It's one of my prized possessions. With the 3D printer, what I'll be able to do. So again, I've been practicing and practicing and practicing. I'm doing this stuff daily, so I'm getting better and better and better at creating this art digitally. But digitally, it's just an image, which I can, like when you go to the uphillpursuitofpassion.com, there's an image of the sculpture spinning around, and then there's like those two images that I made of it. One that's black and white, where you see it at three angles, and the other one where it's black and orange because it's in the dark. But I made the boulder that this fist is pushing, like I made that glow. I made that a light. That's all done in the computer. Now with a 3D printer, I'll be able to say at any size. Now the printer has a limited print size, but I can break a sculpture up into numerous pieces and print them, assemble them out of plastic, and then make a concrete mold around it and then cast it. So it's still not easy. It's not like I'm just pushing a button and here's your sculpture. It's a lot of back-breaking work, but it's rewarding. It's worth it. I'm creating something. I'm taking something. This 3D printer will let me take something from my imagination and bring it into the real world. And Andy Warhol, he manufactured. He took ideas like the Campbell soup thing, and he would just make screen prints and do like different colors of it. And he had a bunch of people working for him. I can kind of do the same thing with this, but I can customize it. So if you're like, can you make me one of those, but with a pink boulder? I mean, yeah, I can do that. It's amazing technology, and it's this particular sculpture is of Sisyphus, a Greek tragedy or myth, whatever. The guy actually looked him up. He was actually not the nicest guy in the world. So this is a modern reinterpretation. I'm not telling people that, hey, all your troubles are for nothing because as soon as you get towards the top of the mountain, it's gonna roll back down. You start over. But the reason that I'm doing my project around this particular sculpture is because the second I posted this particular project, just the same way I've done every other painting, drawing, sculpture, I'll just post it on Facebook. I'll probably make a smart-ass remark. But as soon as I posted this one, everyone's like, "Tis your best work. I want one." And I was like, why does everyone want this one? I mean, I thought the work was good, but I didn't, I thought there were others that I thought were showed more artistic perfection or whatever word you want to use. But I thought about it and I looked, who are these people who are liking it? They're all in the marketing world. They're all entrepreneurs. They're all, I mean, a lot, but they're even the ones that weren't. These are people who pursue their passions. These are people, and the sculpture is a reminder that you have to keep on pushing and that what sometimes poop, I can say poop, right, happens. And what, so like we're talking marketing, maybe a server crash goes bad, or maybe PayPal freezes your account and on the day you're launching, that doesn't mean that's it, you're out of the game. Like, things happen, the boulder's going to roll backwards and you have to keep pushing. Like, no dream was ever just handed to someone. They have the.
I think the myth of Sisyphus isn't just for marketers. I would say that it speaks to all human beings and the human condition, and that's why people relate to it. It's like, regardless if you're just coasting through your life and not living your passion, or you're living it, you still have to push something, and better to push your passion and risk that. Yeah, for sure, sometimes it's going to fall on top of you, and those disasters, they happen to every single person at one point or
They great
another.
stories. They make fantastic. The guys who set up Airbnb, which is now a global sensation, they're making tons of money, and everyone knows about them. In fact, now the government's trying to regulate them. They've gotten so big. But there's if you Google Justin.tv space Airbnb, you can watch their presentation, right? So they became roommates. They knew they wanted to do something. They didn't know what. They started working on this, and they had the idea, and they needed money, and they had no money. And this one guy that they used to go to school with or something said he'll fund them 20 grand because they decided, well, while we're working on stuff, we should make cereal, like the breakfast food, cereal. And so they thought they were funny, and so they made two kinds of cereal. Um, Obama O's and Captain McCain's, because McCain was in the Navy, and they sold them for $40 each.
Wow.
Box of cereal, and so this one guy basically lent them the 20 grand and said, I'll fund your box printing and stuff, and so they sold out of Obama O's instantly, and not a single person bought Captain McCain's. And the thing is, so then they had some money, and they ran out of money. So then there was a period where for 3 months they're like, God, we don't have any money. Like, we can't buy food. For 3 months, more breakfast, noon, or breakfast, lunch, and dinner, they were eating Captain McCain's. For like, that's a hell of a story. But and that's what you look back at and laugh. That's what they're gonna remember. And yeah, I've had my failures. I warped the counter at my last apartment because of acid, not LSD, but like different acids I was working with. I burnt myself with like chemical burn when I was working with fiberglass. Um, you're not really supposed to work with concrete in your apartment. Like all these things, but they're funny stories. To me, car accidents are funny. So long as everyone gets out alive and okay, if there's no tragedy involved, then it's just a funny story. It's it gives us contrast too. Without the bad times, you don't appreciate the good times. And I, like you said, if you're gonna push something, you might as well push something that when you do get to the top of the hill, you appreciate it. Look, I love my WordPress course because it's changed the lives of thousands of people who thought that they could never make a website. And in fact, they were being held hostage and overcharged by, I almost said garage mechanics, but I meant web designers. And now they're doing it on their own. I got a 9-year-old kid with one hand who is making her own websites, and for others, like it's giving people like money opportunities, not just, like they're doing it for other people. They've set up businesses and stuff like that. I got great stories, and so I love it. But is it what I? So my dad says to me, he says, "Man, son, just think about it. If you had in 1996 when you started with websites, if you just stayed with it, if instead of all this traveling, you just set up a web agency and you just kept it up. Do you know how much money you'd be making right now?" I'm like, I don't care. I don't love making websites. In fact, it stresses me out. Like yeah, I do it still. Like I have a reputation, and but now I only choose the websites where I like the people that I'm working with, and I like what they're doing. Because if I don't like, I can't do something just for the money, kind of thing. And so yeah, I could. I pushed the boulder really hard to bring that course to life. I launched that course from people's couches. Like, I was recording and editing and writing the copy. I did everything on my own, and then the launch and the customer support, and this is a big boulder to push. And the reward was awesome. I mean, I've changed the lives of thousands of people, but it's not my passion. So if I can get thousands of these little Sisyphus sculptures on people's desk, I don't care if it's a 3.5-inch version or the 34-inch version, but if it's just on people's desk and it inspires them every time they see it, they're like, I need to keep on pushing, I need to keep following my passion, and they get back on it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes pretty tough. I mean, there's days I want to quit. I'm like, like I'm
So everybody can get one of these sculptures by supporting your Kickstarter campaign.
absolutely.
Going to that website that's under your face there.
There.
Mm.
Yeah.
The Uphill Pursuit of Passion. And they should do it fast because the time is running out. And this is going to allow them to remember to continue on route for a passion. It's going to help you immensely in your journey to fulfilling yours as well.
Absolutely. And, being that you mentioned I'm a marketer, so I'm a walking, talking PR stunt. Like one of the people that I couch surfed with was the CEO of Zappos.com, billion plus a year company. The whole world knows them. And everyone's like, oh, how'd you do that? And, I so as a marketer, I have to come up with PR. I have to do stuff. I know that as an artist, the way that my stuff is going to be worth, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands per piece is by me becoming part of the popular conversation, meaning, getting in the news. Um, this project is already all over the news. And in November, I did the Movember campaign where I was giving away thousands of dollars of my art to help raise money for prostate cancer research. And I'm going to keep doing things. I'm going to keep coming up with innovative projects and charitable things I can do and little inventions that are art related. I'm going to keep doing things. So, um, in the future, you're not going to be able to spend $50 or $100 and get one of my sculptures. They're going to be much more costly. So this is a great time to get in, as they say in the MLM world, at the ground floor where this stuff is going to be worth something. And it's not just the value of the art. You watching, you contributing, you made it happen. You're setting up this career. You're helping this fame move forward. And because of that, because you're believing in me now, that piece that you're getting now is going to be worth a lot of money down the line.
On top of it, you're using cutting edge technology. You're going to be one of the first people with this kind of 3D printer, and that itself will evolve immensely in the next 20 years, I'm sure.
Yeah, and being an innovator and using of the technology early. The reason I make really cool websites now is because I was making really cool websites when the technology really sucked. So as soon as the technology improved, because I already had a grasp of the fundamentals and what makes it work, I was able to really leverage WordPress and Joomla and Flash and all these other things as they came out. It's going to be the same thing. Like, yeah, right now I'm going to start off printing. I mean, remember printers? I mean, everyone had dot matrix, and the first inkjet printers cost an arm and a leg, and they kind of suck. Now everyone just takes it for granted that you can just print up a photo, or you can just walk down the street to Walgreens or CVS and have, your pictures that you took on your phone. I mean, I was there for the growth, invention, and innovation in the digital photography world. Now everyone's got a camera, but um, I'm looking forward to, as these technologies mature, it's going to be absolutely magical, and I always plan on being on the cutting edge of that. So you'll have moving liquid robots, like Terminator 2 stuff. I mean, not trying to kill all of humanity, but like just the liquid metal stuff. And I'm gonna be there playing with that. So yeah, absolutely. By connecting, by helping me on this project, by supporting this, you're not only getting a great work of art, we're now connecting. You're going to be able to watch the journey, and you are part of it. You help make it happen, and yeah, it'd be
So
cool.
thank you so much for having this conversation today, and I really wish you the best of luck with, you know, even superseding your goal in the Kickstarter campaign. And I hope you make a road trip to Canada.
I would love to. For everyone that doesn't know, you're telling me about how your father does stonework, like really large, massive pieces. And I mean, when you told me like that, you'll connect me with him, and I can go help, learn some of that stuff, try with that. That that's my heroin. That's I'm like, ooh, how can you say no to that? Because it's something I haven't done. It's a new technique, and I get to learn from someone who's already been doing it. So yeah, I mean that's another last tip. Sorry, I can never stop spouting off little life advice. If you want to do something, find someone who's like really good at it already. Make friends with them. You'll save years of pain and mistakes, and you'll have some support in the industry. It's really cool.
So that's the uphill pursuit of passion. Last tip from Ori Bengal: go to Kickstarter at the uphill and you uphill. What is it? The
The
uphill.
uphill pursuit of passion.com will take you straight to my Kickstarter. Watch the video, learn the best life lessons I learned being homeless. Check out the sculpture and the art, and there's links there to see all my paintings and other stuff as well. And make sure to share this link with everyone you know, and heck, even people you don't know.
Have a great weekend.
You too. Thanks, Rebecca.